I made a $2 billion mistake, and it's the same mistake you're making right now. For 22 years, I lived the dream. I was a television executive at Fox 21 Television Studios and at A&E. My job was to find and develop and oversee the development and production and post-production and launch of television shows. Sons of Anarchy, Duck Dynasty, Intervention, 60 Days In. These were my projects. I was the guy behind the curtain, the one who could spot a hit, the one who knew how to make content that people couldn't ignore. I oversaw a content portfolio over the course of my career worth over $2 billion. I had 4 Emmy nominations, and I was obsessed with being the best executive, finding the best shows, working with the best talent, and despite all that success, I felt completely invisible. Here's the mistake. I was trying to be the best. And that's exactly what's keeping you invisible as well. Today, I'm going to share with you the counterintuitive lesson that changed everything and why being the best makes you forgettable. That's right, I said it. Being the best makes you forgettable, and how to become the only instead. And this single shift will eliminate your competition entirely. Stay with me? Are you ready? Let's go. So let me tell you about the biggest lie in business. That success comes from being the best. What does that mean? Does somebody award you a trophy? An Emmy? No. I believed that lie for decades. I thought if I could just be the best television executive, develop the best shows, work with the best networks, I'd stand out. I'd be unforgettable. I remember sitting in boardrooms and conference rooms at A&E surrounded by other amazing executives who were all trying to be the best. We'd compete for the best projects, the best talent, the best time slots. We'd compare our ratings, our budgets, our awards. Everyone was trying to outbest everyone else. And here's what actually happened. The better I got, the more invisible I became. Why? Because when you're trying to be the best, you're automatically putting yourself in a category with everyone else who's also trying to be the best. Let me say this again. You are automatically putting yourself in a category with everyone else who's also trying to be the best. And that's when you become a commodity. Think about it. When someone says, I'm looking for the best marketing consultant, what happens? They get a list of 50 marketing consultants, all claiming to be the best. But they have to compare, right? They compare credentials, they compare prices, compare testimonials. You've just entered a competition where the only way to win is to be cheaper or have more credentials than the next person. That's not a position of strength. That's a position of desperation. And I saw this happening in Hollywood constantly, all the time. Hundreds of executives just like me, all with impressive resumes, all trying to be the best. We were all competing for the same projects, the same jobs, the same talent, the same recognition. And the result, we all sort of blended together. We kind of became interchangeable. Did the networks care which executive developed a show? No, as long as it performed. We were just cogs in a machine, trying to out-cog each other. And that's when I realized being the best doesn't make you memorable. It makes you, dare I say it, replaceable. The breakthrough came when I started analyzing the shows that actually broke through the noise. I realized something profound. The hits, they weren't the best shows in their categories. They were the only shows in their categories. And let me give you some detailed examples from my own experience. Let's start with Duck Dynasty. So I came on board the show several seasons in when it was already a hit. The show, wonderfully produced, great cinematography, Solid reality TV production values, but here's what I realized when I started working on evolving that format. Duck Dynasty wasn't successful because it was the best reality show. There were dozens of reality shows. More dramatic, funnier, bigger budgets, more famous families. But here's what made Duck Dynasty impossible to ignore. It was the only show about a millionaire redneck duck call empire. That's the only, right? It sticks out. Think about that positioning. You could not compare it to anything else because nothing else existed in that space. It wasn't competing to be the best family show. It had created its own category where it was the only option. The result, 11.8 million viewers for the season 4 premiere. It became the most watched nonfiction cable series in history, not because it was the best, but because it was the only. And Sons of Anarchy, another perfect example. When Kurt Sutter pitched the show and I was in the room, he wasn't trying to create the best crime drama. At least I'm going to assume that. The Sopranos was already the best crime drama, right? Can't beat that. The Wire was the best police procedural. Breaking Bad was becoming the best anti-hero story. But Sons of Anarchy was the only show about an outlaw motorcycle club, dealing with family, dealing with loyalty and violence in a small California town. That unique positioning made that show unforgettable. And it ran for 7 seasons, some spin-offs, and became one of FX's most successful series ever. And let me give you another example, 60 Days In. This was a show that I was directly involved with at A&E from the very beginning. Was 60 Days In the best prison show? I don't know. There were documentaries about prison. There are fictional prison shows that were made more dramatic. But 60 Days In was the only show where regular people voluntarily went undercover in jail. What? That unique angle made it impossible to turn off. Here's what I learned. Every single hit show I worked on had one thing in common. They weren't trying to be better than the competition. They were eliminating competition by creating a category where they were the only option. And here's the kicker. Once you become the only, you can charge premium prices. Duck Dynasty merchandise generated over $400 million in revenue. Sons of Anarchy spawned multiple spin-offs, and 60 Days In ran for 9 seasons and counting. When you're the only, you're not competing on price. You are setting the price. And this same principle applies to your business. But most entrepreneurs completely miss it. They're so focused on being better than the competition that they never stop to ask, how can I eliminate competition entirely? Let me give you some real examples of how this plays out. So here's some traditional positioning. I'm the best business coach. Problem? There are thousands of business coaches all claiming to be the best. You're now competing on credentials, testimonials, and price. The only positioning says, I'm the only business coach who uses neuroscience to help introverted entrepreneurs build 7-figure businesses without networking. That's a mouthful, I know. But the result, you've just eliminated 99% of your competition. Anyone who fits that specific profile has only one choice, you. Let me give you another example. Traditional positioning, I'm the best marketing consultant. Problem. Prospects will compare you to every other marketing consultant in their inbox. Here's the only positioning. I'm the only marketing consultant who helps B2B SaaS companies reduce customer acquisition costs by 40% using behavioral psychology. Whew. What's the result? You're not competing with general marketing consultants anymore. You're in a category of one. When I left the day-to-day of the corporate world, I faced this exact decision. I could have positioned myself as the best branding consultant or the best marketing strategist. But what would have put me in competition with thousands of other consultants was that, and all with impressive credentials and case studies that have been doing it for years. Instead, I became the only consultant who uses 22 years of Hollywood experience to make you entrepreneurs impossible to ignore. That's not a category anyone else compete in. I'm the only consultant who uses 22 years of Hollywood experience to make entrepreneurs impossible to ignore. It's uniquely me. It's uniquely mine. And that difference is profound. When someone needs help with general branding, they may consider 50 different consultants. They're going to compare prices, look at portfolios, read testimonials. I know you do it. Then it becomes a commodity purchase. But when someone needs help becoming unforgettable, using Hollywood principles, there's only one choice: me. I'm not being compared to anyone else. I'm not competing on price. I'm the obvious and only solution to your specific problem. And this is what I call category creation. Instead of trying to win in an existing category, you create a new category where you're the only player. So here's the question you need to ask yourself: are you trying to be the best, or are you trying to be the only? If you're trying to be the best, you're in a race to the bottom. You'll always be competing on price, always be compared to others, always be just another option. You'll spend your time trying to out-credential, out-testimonial, and out-discount your competition. But if you can figure out how to be the only, you eliminate competition entirely. You become the obvious choice. You become impossible to ignore. You can charge premium prices because you're not being compared to anyone else. Here's how to start thinking about this. First, stop asking, how can I be better than my competition? Start asking, how can I be different than my competition? How can I be the $2 bill? Second, look at your unique background, your experiences, your perspective. What combination of skills and experiences do you have that nobody else has? What's your raw material for becoming the only? And third, get specific about who you serve and what problem you solve. The more specific you get, the easier it becomes to be the only option. The riches are in the niches, right? We all heard it. That, what I just described, is the only versus best framework, which is the third pillar of the Hollywood Authority Blueprint. It's the mindset shift that transforms invisible experts into authorities. Tomorrow, we're going to dive into the talk-back television formula. Woo, I love this one. How to craft a story so compelling, people can't help but repeat it. This is how you turn your only positioning into content that spreads like wildfire. But if you want to get ahead of the curve, if you want the complete framework right now, comment the number $2 DOLLAR below. I'm going to personally send you the Hollywood Authority Blueprint, the same framework I used to go from invisible network executive to building my own authority. It includes worksheets, templates, and step-by-step instructions to help you become the only choice in your market. Sounds good, right? And it's completely free. Don't spend another day trying to be the best. It's time to become the only. Comment $2 right now. I'm waiting. Do it right now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Be unforgettable. Be the $2 bill.